What? No theme music, nah?
Gusto, now Chris the host. Man, I make a little dinner whilst busting joke. Come to the yard, get it off your chest. There's no hard feelings when you're rocking with the best. Everything's crisp, everything's nice. Throw a little sugar, add a little spice. Ask all questions, cook a little rice. Gamble like Vegas and throw a little dice. Raise a glass and make a toast. Drop by Chris for a Sunday roast. Or 8 days of his mixology. Get twisted and not off the Hennessy. Now your belly's full, play a game of ball. Gusto, he's coming from the old school. No if buts, maybes, whys. No silly questions, I tell no lies.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
Live talks with Sheffield Sharks head coach Atiba Lyons.
Woo! It's a kind of magic. One more, people. We got one more. Bear with us. One more. Mitchell Timmins. Alex, what's good? Let me show the wave. Just waiting for our last guest. Cool. Ben Thomas, Newcastle Eagle fans, how we doing? Last one today. Oh, there. Alright, well, waiting for him. They've gone good. They're getting better, I reckon. That's cool. It's cool. They're up on my page, so you can watch them anytime. Just trying to get the last guess in. Nice, Alex. Wait. One more, people. Yep. Got him. Ah, yes. It's AT in the house. AL, sorry.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm good, brother. Blessed, man. How you been today?
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. Working hard.
Definitely, man. I see that, man. I've heard that from one of your other guys I had yesterday. So
Okay,
you
that's
heard
good.
you're a hard worker, man.
But I won't make them run when we start training, man.
Yeah, just tend to cut me 10%. You know, it seems I said some good stuff. Man, how you been dealing with all the quarantine, man? How you been getting on with it? How you adapted to it?
It's been all right for me in some ways, and some of these other ways it's difficult. But you know, it's more time at home, family, but also just kind of focusing on working out and doing things like that. But trying to read, trying to educate myself in different things and stuff like that.
Okay, still working on a jump shot every now and then, though, yeah?
No. I'm just trying to keep my dad bod slim.
Okay. Every now and then, you might need to just show some people, listen, that's still great. That's dope, man. Oh, I've seen so where is it you grew up, man? I've seen it, if it's true. You grew up in one of my favorite places in New York.
Yeah, I was born and raised in New York.
Brooklyn,
Crown Heights. Yep. Yeah. So my mother still lives there, and family's still there. So, but I went to Florida at a young age,
Okay.
like 10, 11, and with my mother and my three brothers. But I always went between there and Brooklyn, and my dad stayed there in the same place, and then went back to school in New York. So, yeah,
Okay.
Brooklyn's home.
So it's get back on football team Miami and Brooklyn.
It's not Miami, it's Sarasota. Yeah, Sarasota, little town in the South Side called Englewood. Yeah, they're in Brooklyn. Summers and stuff in New York, and then school year in Florida. But so I'm split. I'm a little bit got a little bit of Southern tendencies, but I'm born and raised in New York too.
That's fair. No, I've got the Southern tendencies. All right. Can you spit like them Brooklyn rappers up there?
Nah, I stopped trying. Back in I think like 80, 88, me and brother were A-Rock and S-Rock, and I hung it up after that. We didn't get the deal we were looking for. They weren't talking the numbers we needed, so we hung it up. Retired.
Yeah, I tried the MCing thing myself when it was all popular. I was like, this ain't working for me, man.
I got brothers and they call rap, so I knew where I stood. I had to play sports.
Oh man, cool, man. So what sports personalities grew up near you in Brooklyn? I know there's a lot of famous players.
Yeah, man. I know Jamal Tinsley's not from there where I'm from.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of basketball players from Brooklyn, man. It's funny because I wasn't really into basketball in that way. I never played AAU or any of that stuff.
Okay.
And my father's Jamaican, and he wasn't into like basketball. Like I didn't have that push from the father to try to make me play sports in that way. It was more education and work, get a job, and you know what I mean, and provide. But I was a park kid, just always in the park playing, always doing my thing and that, and then so I never really did the whole. I never focused on basketball in that way. You know, I just kind of played it because I loved it, and then it kind of eventually evolved into getting opportunities. And when I was in Florida, my high school coach was very influential, and he encouraged me. I didn't think I was going to go to college. You know, back then college was like, it was Fab Five. It was like, you know, North Carolina it was big time. So I was like, man, I'm good for my neighborhood. But you know, he really talked me into like, no, you can do it. And he drove me to my first camp in Atlanta, and helped me fund it. And I got some offers, and that was it. But I never really had a big history in basketball as far as organized and trying to do AAU and the circuit.
So you got into basketball when you went to Florida, then mainly
more or less, yeah.
Okay. And what was it like growing up? Because I'm half Jamaican as well. So like growing up half Jamaican and American in Brooklyn, what was that like with the Jamaican parents and the background?
It's tough. I mean, it's the culture's kept. You know what I mean? Jamaican families keep that same discipline and same focus on education and. You know, you don't go outside without your clothes ironed and everything looking neat and clean. And, you know what I mean? Sundays you're up early, cleaning the house up, cleaning. You know, it's all that discipline and
can't leave plates in the sink.
No, none of that stuff.
Tidy your bed before you leave the house.
See, over here, I don't know what it's like down in London, but I've been in Sheffield all the time. But they don't really have roaches over here.
You have what?
So, in England, I don't see roaches.
No,
so I'm always like on it. They don't in America. If you leave something out, roaches is everywhere. You got roaches. You can never. So you got to clean up, or your house is gonna look crazy. So, I think it's a little bit different here. But yeah, that's discipline, and you're not supposed to be out in the street at night. You got to come home when the lights come on. You know, things like that. Jamaican families don't play that, and that's how I grew up.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. My mom I used to ask my mom, "What time do you want me home?" She goes, "Get home before it turns dark." I'm like, "What time
when
is
the lights come on? You better be home." And even in Brooklyn, it was more like you couldn't leave my block. You had the kids that couldn't leave the gate. We were lucky enough we can go like close to the corner, but not the corner. Don't go to the corner. You're gonna come back inside. But you can go close to the corner to, Miss Grant's house and that house. You can play between those two blocks and those two houses, and then lights come on. You come inside. So, it's strict. You didn't run the streets. You didn't leave. You didn't go around the corner. You didn't go to the corner store without a parent. All that stuff. It's a little stricter.
I can imagine. I remember seeing Notorious's biography when he said he used to sit on the stoop, and I said the first time he left the block, it was like a whole new world. So
it is. They say like jump off the porch and all that stuff. That's that kind of thing that parents don't want you to leave, and when you do, it's a whole nother world over there. So I had a good family.
That's good, man. So like, talk us through your experience, before leading up to the UK and Sheffield. So how was your basketball experience then coming up to that?
Well, my first professional job was in Finland.
Okay.
That was out of college. That was a great experience for me. I think traveling for me has been the biggest teacher. It's changed me completely. I
Yeah.
was coming from America. I think I was a little narrow-minded.
Yeah.
I didn't know the world as that way, and a lot of the stuff we're seeing now was how I was ingrained, and I had to travel abroad to see there's a different way of thinking, and people don't all see the world the same way. So my first job was actually Finland, which was crazy because you're flying in and it's just like field, snow,
Oh,
field. You're
really?
just like, so I get to the airport and my coach picks me up, and he's an American guy, Greg Gibson, who's he's coaching in Finland still, but very, very close friend of mine, and now, and we had to drive 4 hours to get to the where I was living from the airport. So, and it's just a whole different culture shock,
Man.
and I had the people there are amazing, really warm, really welcoming, friendly, but the cold, the isolation, and kind of, it was so many good things that it overcame that. But when I got through that season, I knew like, okay, I can live anywhere, I can play anywhere, because it wasn't hard for me. I enjoyed my time, so that was big for me to kind of push forward after, to keep going. And I went from there to France, in Toulouse, it was called. Then the following year, I went to Hungary to start the season, and I moved to Finland again, same team. And then that year, after the following season, I went to Israel, and then I went there to kind of replace an injured player, so I had a temporary contract. And then I came back to Sheffield, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
dope. So how did you find them coming to Sheffield, like adapting to the whole culture, the whole
It was
Yorkshire culture?
it was America. I just been to Finland, France.
Yeah.
It was America here. I didn't. You had McDonald's, you had like TGI Fridays, you had Jamaican food, you had.
Yeah.
Oh, this is America. The English speaking on TV, no
Yeah.
subtitles or voiceovers, dub over. This is
And
like the fit.
the mouths all not synchronizing,
Yeah,
you gotta read it
yeah.
again.
It's funny because when especially when rookies come, they're always like, "Oh, it's crazy culture shock." I'm like, nah, you haven't. You got to go in the continent, and then you have the culture shock. Because when you do that, you realize, England and America are really, they're siblings. It's one of the same almost. England's obviously the big brother, a little more refined and a little more educated, but it's very close in a lot of things.
Was that the first place you went to when you came to England as well?
Yeah, I've never been anywhere else, never played or coached anywhere else. I've just been in Sheffield.
Okay, because I think it was different for me because obviously I'm from London, and it's like
Yeah.
going to Sheffield was a shock to me. It's like first time I'd seen, like you said, the first time I seen fields and I seen cows. It's like, wow, people actually, they can stroke the cows here. And so it was like they have trams on the street. It was Sheffield was it was an experience that made me move to Leeds for university. So
Okay.
could imagine.
No, it's a great place to live. I really enjoyed it. I think at first I was younger, and I still kind of was like, man, everything closes at 2 or 3, and now I'm older. I don't even be out past 9, so it don't matter anymore. But when I first came, I probably felt a little bit like that because I want to be up all night and just running around doing stupid stuff.
So what kind of biggest challenge you faced first coming into Sheffield, you reckon, in terms of on and off the court?
The biggest challenge for me was it was the first time I really did, and I'm not gonna say it was a difficult challenge, but it was just adjusting. Was getting involved in the community. It was something that I welcomed, though. It was something that I knew going in that I'd have to do. I went to university to study business, but I always worked with family services in New York in the summers and during the season part-time. So I'd always work with kids. So when I came to Sheffield, I kind of knew, but it was just balancing that with playing. And then you have to, because usually you go somewhere and you just got to get to practice at home, and you kind of learn the city. But once you start going to a different school, and you got to kind of know your way around quicker. So that was the bit of adjustment. But everything else, like I said, everyone was professional, nice. The club is very welcoming. Years of history and success, so they had the formula to try to create the winning atmosphere and team. So it was a positive adjustment, if anything.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And what kind of earlier on, what kind of cities did you find very interesting when you went to visit them to play against?
It's funny. It's kind of sad. I really don't know that many cities in the UK because I just stay in my little world in Sheffield
Oh,
and
fair enough.
focus on what I'm doing. I've been to London and I really enjoy London. Um, it's for me, it's a lot of feel to New York. A
Yeah,
little
yeah,
more congested than New York, feel a little more on top of you. But it's a lot of the same. The energy of it, it's like electric a little bit. With people, everyone there is trying to do something, and I always enjoy going there, kind
yeah.
of get that energy. Um, uh, what other place I've really been in the UK that I can really talk about? I mean, other places, you play it, you go to the gym, and you leave. You don't really. Up north, I like places like York. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah, I've
That's a
been
really nice
York. I've
place.
been York.
York's
Yeah,
really nice. I like that place. Um,
very
Leeds is
cultural there.
nice. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just everything is so. I enjoy that being over here, this side of the world. Is so everything in America is so cookie cutter. Everything's like strip malls and when you're outside of certain places, it's nice to go somewhere and there's always history and it's always real buildings that are built from stone and those kind of things, not just like plastic and you just could blow it
Yeah,
away
yeah, yeah.
in a storm. You know what I mean? So I just like all England really.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So going forward a bit now. So you're playing in Sheffield. How many years was it? 7 years. So played in Sheffield as a player.
Yeah, I played two, and then I took over as player coach in my
Yeah.
third year, and then I played
Okay.
another 3 years after that, I think, as player coach, and then I transitioned to full time coaching.
So
Um,
how
yeah,
so how did you find that transition? Say you was a player for the first 2 3 years, and then you're a player coach. How did you find that transition from being a player to now to you're a player coach? And how do you deal
uh,
with the adversities?
yeah, that was the most difficult probably part of everything that I've had to do here as far as transition. It's funny because when I think back to that time, is how green I was and some of the mistakes I would make, and like, because I came from play, I would get to the bus and I forgot the board. You know what I mean? Because I'm not used to carrying the game board. I'm thinking I got my shoes, I got my socks, I didn't
Yeah,
bring the
yeah,
game board or markers and all that kind of stuff. So, but on the court, it was just really um, the confidence to make decisions, the confidence that in what I'm doing. That was one of the great things about Sheffield. They really allowed me to grow as a coach and make mistakes. GM Sarah, she's instrumental in that. Um, first identifying me as possibly being a coach because not something I definitely sought after. It was kind of just um, something that came up, and I was 26, whatever it was. Kind of like,
all right.
so that age, you don't really. I'm coaching people like Todd Cawthorn, who's accomplished as a player. He's probably, I'm not going to put him on blast, but he's a few years older than me.
Yeah,
And
yeah, okay.
and I got to come in, I got to start putting stuff down and discipline and creating an atmosphere and just having the confidence to do that. And when you lose, knowing that what you did worked, it just was a bad game. Because the first thing you want to do is change, and you got to
Yeah,
learn how to lose with your stuff and still keep the team to believe in it. So those kind of things, you need a lot of confidence. And at a young age, I probably didn't have that in spades, but being here in Sheffield, they helped with that.
I can imagine that. Like as well. How did it feel as well? Because you said you was a coach at 26, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So how did you feel like knowing there might have been some players who were probably older than you were? How did you? How did that feel? How did that make you feel knowing that you're older than some of these, but how are they going to
Um,
respond to you?
I've always been confident in my basketball IQ as far as how I see the game and
Yeah.
how I read the game from that standpoint. So I knew I would be saying the right things or having the right strategy. Um, but the confidence just comes in delivering the message. And I just always said if I focus on me playing hard defense and doing those things that are unselfish, it's easier for the team to listen to me. I didn't want to go in there trying to score and get points and then try to tell people to pass the ball. So,
Yeah. Imagine that.
that was kind of how I kind of approached it. And I think at the end of the day, if someone's out there telling you, I'm going to set you a screen, I'm going to give you the ball here, you kind of are forced to listen because they're trying to help you more than help themselves. And I think that's how it works.
That's a good strategy, really. I've seen some games where the coaches a coach play games where the coach is just he's doing everything. He wants to score and be the leader, and
Yeah,
he's just shouting at teams. And it's not been a good reception because some players think, "What's the hell? They don't want to play now because
yeah,
he's just making it by himself." So it's good that he did it that way. Um,
yeah.
Played alongside one of my close friends, Laken.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Lake is my boy. Yeah, yeah. He's a
Laken,
good guy,
man.
man. Really good. Had a lot of
What was
fun
he?
with Lake.
What was he like playing with, man? Come-
Lake and he could shoot the ball. Really good shooter. Tough defender. Scrappy. Really fast hands. Get a lot of strips and steals on the ball or even off the ball, digging down. With me and Lake, and it was funny because he's older than me, but he always kind of said I was like his like old head a little bit because I'd be like, come on, Lake, like I wanted a lot from him because he's a humble guy and he's a little bit he could be quiet at times, and I wanted him
Yeah, yeah.
but as far as his game goes, he was a very, very strong player and had some big games for us when we were playing that year.
Definitely, and there's a few others that I knew that played there as well. What was your aim to have that relationship with a lot of players there, like as being a player coach? Was there like a specific way you wanted to conduct yourself with those players?
I think my first year, I kind of was trying to figure it out. Didn't know if I should be friendly or cold or trying to, because I'm generally like the guy on the team that when I was just a player, I had a relationship with everybody, and I would, you know what I mean. I had inside jokes with everybody. I have nicknames for everybody, and I'm just that kind of person. So to go from a coach, and you might say something, and you kind of it's not taken the same way. I was like, okay, that don't work when you're the coach. You can't do the same thing. So at the end of the day, I just, I do my job and I just let it evolve how it evolves. Some guys, some guys can be friendly with a coach and still keep that boundary, and some guys got to keep the boundary. And if you're friendly with them, they think, well, why you ain't playing me more? I thought we was cool. Like, well, so you know what I mean. So you got to learn how to keep that boundary. So I just approach it. I just see how it evolves. Really, it's no real plan.
No, that's good, dope, man. I like that. So as a player, you won the BBL Cup as a player at one point, right?
Hmm.
And then you winning it as a coach. Which one do you think was more the challenging, winning it as a player coach or as just a coach?
I think it's the first one was kind of confirmation that I was doing things the right way. And then after that, it was just to prove that I did it the right way, and I know I can do it more than once because that's the biggest fear. And also, it's kind of like validation for Sarah and Yuri to believe in me and let me make mistakes, and because I know that was an easy decision, especially when we didn't have we finished like mid-table the first year, but it wasn't. It's the first thing they want to jump on is that a controversial decision as far as that. So. I think player coach probably just to get that monkey off my back was probably the most satisfying one.
Oh, that's dope, man. I could imagine that. And then when did you come to the decision to say, all right, you know what, not play no more, fully focus on coaching? And was you a director in some sort as well, or was it just the coach you are at the moment?
I didn't say it. My niece said it. My niece held a meeting, held a press conference.
Yeah.
They said you're not
Oh,
playing
right.
no more. No,
Your niece just said it like that. You didn't play.
yeah, my niece said like, no, we're not getting out of bed today. I had some issues. I had some like different, just wear and tear.
Yeah.
Being a
Screaming out and
guy.
everything.
I probably could have played again if I would have had surgery, rehab, but I was kind of ready now to transition. I'm lucky enough to be in that position to transition right from playing to stay in the game. So I think it creeps up now more missing it than it did when I made the decision. Because I player coaching for those 2-3 years was so difficult. I was just ready to get rid of one of those roles and just focus on it full time. But it was more physical, and when you're physically hurt, mentally it's just and coaching was just too much.
Yeah, could imagine. So you're doing it. That's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
As mentioned, Mike said he saw the difference. He said as a player coach, he noticed that he was a lot more passionate because you see a side that the very passionate side because he was a player as well as a coach,
Yeah.
and then as a coach, he said he's a different person. I could imagine. So it's obviously it was different as a coach. The
Because
relationship,
as a player, I could say you got to be physical, and all right, watch this. I'm gonna
yeah,
go do what I got to do, and I can say, why can't you do that? And as a coach, I gotta kind of, coax and convince and be clever, and you gotta try to get the best with words and film, and I can't just go do it and say that's what I want.
yeah,
So
yeah.
in that way, coaching was easier, but now it's just different. It's different.
All right. There's nothing I want to touch on some of your players. What was your first impressions of is it McKnight and Cashaw when they first came,
Um,
man? I like those two, man.
yeah, as players,
Yeah,
Mackie McKnight is he's got that dog in him.
yeah,
He's a competitor. He wants to guard the best play. He wants to make you hate him. You don't want to be your friend. You don't like. He has that kind of way about him, and he's unselfish. So that's the first impression I had with him, and he's getting better and better still. I think early in his career he probably had some bumps with just the position, the teams he went to, and not sticking for
Okay.
different reasons out of his control. And now he's getting confident. You can see it coming together more offensively, and he's got some stuff in his bag. And then Connor was a slow burner. He's a rookie. He was in a system for a long time with Rice, and then went to Creighton, and then I don't think he played as much as he expected to. So he's kind of had his confidence knocked a bit.
Okay.
And when you come overseas and you fly on that plane, you land, you don't know what's going to happen. So you could tell he was a bit tentative.
Yeah.
But you seen the talent. His mid-range game was probably the best I've seen. The way he shoots it with consistency, and he gets it off in small spaces. But he's a good passer, good defender, solid defender, physical, big guard. But as the season went on, you could see him becoming more vocal and doing all the other things too. But
Getting
eventually, he
more
was kind of
confident.
tentative. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And
Mhm.
also I've noticed Mr. Tuck's been there for a long time, man. How's your relationship been like with him from the beginning he came and up till now?
Tuck's great, man. Tuck's a coach's dream in the sense that he's just steady. He's just steady. I mean, if anyone knows what I used to be like to what I am now, it'd be Tuck. I used to get in him, you know what I mean? And whatever it was, and he never reacted negatively. Or, I mean, if he did, it was never more than a minute before it was resolved. It was never anything. He could take it, and he takes what you're saying, and if you're aggressive or you're shouting at him, and uses it, which is great when you're kind of coach I was. I'm not anymore. I'm reformed, but when I was, I could lay into him and he produced. And at the same time, you don't have to call play for him and he'll get a bucket. You don't have to, change the offense to get him going. He's going to find a way to score and give you points and rebounds. Very, very soft touch. Also running the floor, very good in transition, running, catching, finishing, and contact over defense. So yeah, that's why you see him playing as long as he's as effective as he is. He's so skilled as a big guy.
He's got a good mid range as well. I've seen that as well.
Yeah,
And
very
he
good
still,
mid range.
still can get up a little bit. I've seen that as well.
I gotta tease him though because he's up there with me. So he catches little dunks and stuff. I gotta rewind him and call him out in film session. Twist his arm a little bit.
Oh man, that's good.
I'm just hating on him because he can still do it.
That's good. That's good, man. So I can tell, it seems like Sheffield's got two of the villains there because I've been told by Lasker, Mike seems like the villain sometimes, and now you got McKnight as well as another one.
Yeah, I think Mike is just he's a villain by the way he plays and familiarity because people know him, they know what he's done, and over time he's had big games and big shots and he's beat team. Whereas Mackey's his way he plays is just get some people's skin.
Yeah.
So it's two villains but different ways of being it.
That's a good way. That could be marketed very well. Definitely, man. I mean, definitely.
I mean, they both love it. They both aren't complaining about it. I think they both relish in that, really.
can't have too many good guys in the league. You need to mix it up, man. Isaiah Thomas and all that, the Westbrooks. You got to have some good, the Patrick Beverleys. You got to have some of them in there, man.
Yeah.
Imagine. There's a question I always ask every guest on this show. So, what is your views on English basketball in this country? So the BBL, WBL. What things you think that are working, and what things you think they need to improve on a bit more in this country?
I think too many times people view the basketball in England in snapshots, and they don't look at where it's come and that the progression is made. I think every year, every 2 years, they're like, look, this could be better, that could be better. They're not looking at the progress that's been made. When I first came here, we weren't playing the venues we were playing in. Worcester played in a small venue that was double rims and one-sided. Newcastle had an arena, but they own the arena now. Leicester have their own arena. They were playing on the floor that you could barely dribble the ball in some spots. And now they've got an arena. It was terrible. It was about, the hoops was 10 foot and the ceiling was 11.
Yeah.
so and now they've got a nice arena. You got all these clubs are strengthening and improving, and it's not due to anything else than British basketball investing in infrastructure, learning from things in the past, becoming self-reliant, not waiting for it, and figuring out how to make it happen. And it's not easy. A lot of these other countries people look at. One is when they compare to Europe, what are you comparing it to? What's your measuring stick? Because you got you have the Maccabees, you have these other huge clubs with multi-million-dollar owners, but there's other teams in those leagues that don't play in those venues and don't have those spotlights. It's not playing EuroLeague, where the players are not being paid and they're getting evicted, and there's so many horror stories from Europe. And in the UK, you have a league that, fine, maybe not have the heights of the top and glitz and glamour, but it's consistently professional, consistently guys are taken care of, consistently if you have an injury, someone's taking care of it, they're not just throwing you on the side of the street. So it just depends what people are looking for in the league as a whole professional standpoint. I think it's a great league. I think the visuals are really improved, film and the arenas they play in. O2 for the final, 17,000 people in there. Like those are big things that people just take for granted. And then the grassroots level, again, the money's not there if you're comparing it to America. You're not having AAU coaches getting, dodgy handshakes because they want this 13-year-old to come to their college one day. You know what I mean? You're not getting those you don't have that stuff thrown around. So people are doing it from the passion, from their heart, from the love of the game. They work and they invest their own time into it, or they had success in basketball that changed their life and they're giving back. Like that can't be eroded. So you've got a strong foundation. It's not just a bunch of money thrown out there and you're like, oh, cool, we start a team, and the money dries up, everybody disappears. This is real grassroots. So the top and the bottom have such strong people in it trying to grow it the right way. I think it's just unfair sometimes, the harsh criticism it gets within the sport. I think from the government standpoint, there's definitely more that can be done and should be done as far as disparity and what different sports get. But the people that are on the ground and the boots on the ground that are trying to make it happen, people got to stop knocking them, because this is not an easy thing to do to make sports thrive with no help from big sponsors or Nikes and Reeboks, and you don't have Gatorade coming in or giving money to all these teams. So I think it's only a little bit away from being that next level, and when it does get to the next level, I hope the people that got it there get the credit.
Definitely. So what is it though, like sponsors like you said, the Nikes and the Gatorades, do you reckon they would want to come over and invest sometime, or is there a reason why they're not investing yet? Or
I think it will come with time. I think there's no reason why it won't come. It's all business, right? So if we sell a product that isn't stable, or we don't have a good foundation for it, you might get some money, but it'll go away and won't come back. So when it does come, we'll be ready for it. And the way that the game is viewed now, it's in everybody's house now. We got the different live streaming services. You have different avenues to see it. So all that stuff is on the cusp. I think it's just a case of it don't happen overnight. You can't. Some things just look at sports like UFC. That was a sport similar to like basketball in America. It was, people didn't know much about it. It was underground a bit. It was like no real sponsors know how to market it or whatever the case may be. And then you get the right people behind it and it takes off.
That's good, man. That's good. I think as well with the BBL, what they could do as well, I think it would be good is marketing players a bit more as well. So I
Yeah.
definitely think like market the players and put more interaction with the players a bit more. I think that will get the fans that feel like that they know the players. So like a person that I look up to why I do this show is Ahmad Rashad.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I watch how he was very interactive with the players,
Hmm.
and you know, he made you feel like you knew them as well, and so you'd laugh with them.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good as well. Bring that entertainment side out of the players, like let them see their personality. So I reckon that would definitely factor into it in the long run, as
Yeah.
well as
I
the
agree. I think that's a good point. Definitely.
definitely.
I think
Right.
we got the characters, and as you see now, big British names are starting to stay around, and that helps too because who we marketing? You know, you can't market some American guys that might be here for a year or two. You got to market the guys that's going to be here and want to be here for a long time. And
Definitely.
if
So just
the best British talent isn't staying, then we can't market it. So as the league gets stronger and we can retain those guys, then you've got the platform, you got the people to invest in. Right now, we're still building all that to when all of a sudden the national team is staying domestically. You know, you got guys like Ovi's a great example. I know he got another way, but he's here now, and you can see it's all starting to. He gets the PR and all that stuff, and we got to create one of those for every club. Maybe not that level without Love Island, but you got to create that for every club.
yeah, something like that. Like Justin as well was another one winning
Yeah.
MVP twice, and he's an established player, and that was great for Great Britain basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
I think they should have pushed him a bit more. Like, you know, this is the MVP, but you know what I mean, something can still work with that. And I think with Teo, I think he does something with Puma, so that might help a little more as well. So that definitely will help. All right, we get into these talks, and my favorite part of these talks, I have these things called hotspot questions.
Okay.
So they're 2 3-part questions, and the first. So this will be from a coaching perspective. So the first one is a player you loved coaching,
Mm-hmm.
a player you loved coaching against, and a funny player you've coached.
A player I love coaching.
Or you loved coaching throughout your career.
I'll play I love coaching. I'll say Mike Tuck.
Mike Tuck, yeah.
For the reason I said. Player I love coaching against. I wouldn't say I take it when you say love coaching against, you mean
You like the matchup, so you know you like to prepare for this player, even though they could, someone who could be a good player that you loved throughout a year. I like to coach, even though he's a tough player. Like you had that respect for him afterwards.
I don't like anybody. No, I'm joking. I'm trying because it's like phase. Should we do recent? I'll do recent because it's
okay. We do recent.
Yeah, I'll do recent. Let's say player like coaching against. Let's say Justin because he's a bit tricky to scout for. He's a bit unorthodox.
Okay. Justin.
Yeah.
All right. Any stories of Justin? I saw it.
No, I mean he's Robinson, huh?
Yeah, I saw his game against you guys in Sheffield. Yeah.
He's just a little unorthodox. He likes to he's righty, but he likes to shoots off his left, but goes right a lot of times. So he's a bit tricky. So I'll say Justin in recent times.
Okay, Justin Robinson. Okay, and a funny player you've coached.
Funny?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I personally always sticks out to me. I had a lot of funny guys. There's 2 people that probably were like funny to me. Always made me laugh. Was Ryan Patton. He was a funny guy. And Gerald Brooks. Gerald Brooks was funny.
You got any stories?
Gerald was just he's so he's passionate, emotional, and he just couldn't. Sometimes he just couldn't control himself. But Would it be not laughing at him for that, but
Yeah.
he would then be able to bring it back around with something funny. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
One of
yeah,
those
yeah.
guys that get mad, but then can bring it around and make everybody laugh with him and be
Yeah.
funny. So he was kind of that, but he always had the locker room laughing. So he kind of always could bring the guys around. And
Okay.
you always like that when someone kind of knows himself a little bit, so they can pull it back. And then Ryan was he was funny too. You know, just had little inside jokes. He just say funny things at the right time.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? He's just one of those guys.
All right. And then the next part of the 3-part question. So this one, you don't have to say the name. You could say a situation, a player you didn't like coaching, not necessarily someone you didn't like. Could be someone you do like, and you think, oh gosh, a player you didn't like coaching against, someone who used to give your team problems, and then a funny opponent you coached against.
Someone I didn't like coaching. That's hard not saying the name though. I mean,
if you want to say the name, you're more than welcome.
To be honest with you, if I didn't like coaching him, I probably didn't coach him. Probably didn't last very long.
Is there memories?
You know, yeah. Like if I didn't like coaching them, I don't have anybody I don't like coaching. I usually I don't really. If I didn't like them coaching them for some reason, it was detrimental to the team, and it was something that was major. So we didn't keep them. Anyone I've coached, was stand up. I liked them, or they worked hard and they played hard. So even in our worst years, we made sure we had quality people playing for us.
Okay.
Person I'd say coach against is Charles Smith. Charles Smith.
Oh yeah, his name's come up like 3 times.
Yeah, he's tough. He was tough. I mean, some of those Newcastle team, Trey Moore was tricky. Andre Smith, when he was around, he was tough. More recent times, Bernardini.
Yeah, okay.
Bernardini was he was a thorn in our side a lot. He made some big shots and some big plays every time we played Leicester. So those are probably the guys that stick out to me.
All right.
Was that the last one? Was that right?
And a funny opponent you coached against.
Funny opponent.
Funny player you coached against.
Funny player or coach?
You can go with the player, yeah. You can go with the player.
I don't know. I don't talk to players. I try not to talk to players. Trey Moore. Yeah, I mean, when my player coaching days, Trey Moore was pretty funny.
Trey Moore, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was funny. He's a character. He used to say some funny stuff. Yeah. I'm not one of those people. I don't really like to talk, and I don't like to do that when I'm playing.
Focus on the game, innit?
Yeah. I don't want to be buddy, laughy. I ain't trying to do that.
Is there a moment the player did something and you just thought, what the hell is he? I mean, I think there was one time I think I saw you laugh a little bit. It was the Manchester game, and his name's come up already on the previous show. Uric.
Jurg's definitely funny. I don't know what we're talking about. Jurg's funny. I don't remember anything in particular.
I think he tried to got upset at the ref because he's like, I think it was Cash or McKnight. I think he hit him, and then obviously he went backwards, and then he got upset. Goes, because he's doing this, don't call the foul. What's wrong with you? I was like, yo, you fouled him.
That was he was king of the fly. He was one of those guys that would hit you and then flop when you hit him back. So that's probably why I know his tricks. I know what he does, but he's a vet, so he gets it. He gets that.
Yeah. I remember he just saw it. He did a little smirk when he did it, and I was like, so he's well known. I was like, this guy is funny. And it's funny because people in the crowd are like, oh, what's wrong? They're like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm just like, I said, he's like that. Don't worry about that. I know him. He does that all the time. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. He's fine. Man. Oh, man, I love it. I love him, though, man. Anyone else is tuned in? You've got any questions for Atiba? And Atiba, do you have any questions for myself?
What have you learned from doing this? What kind of stuff are you picking up, or what are you getting out of this from you doing it from your end?
Oh, good question. I've learned a lot from this, man. I've learned about, just myself a bit more, learning how to structure things a bit more and be more organized with my questions and how to answer my questions. And what I'm looking to push more on is again, I want to do that side of where I can bring it to the sidelines. That's
Hmm.
what I want to do more. I want to put more footage for the sidelines and bring more promotion to the games and teams. So
What
that's
is that?
something.
What you studied, journalism or something? Or what was your study? What did you do in uni?
I studied business and management, but this is because I the story of why I started this was that I did this I hosted a award show in 2 years ago called the Yorkshire Entertainment Awards. So I hosted that show, and then since then I kind of like enjoyed talking on the mic and talking to people, and because of the person I am, I just like to have fun and talk with people. And then
Mhm.
2 years later, I kind of said to myself, I like basketball, I like talking. What can I do? Oh, let me do a talk show. So I've done a talk show, and I've got releasing an episode soon. And then also, yeah, I was gonna do more episodes, but because of the COVID,
Hmm.
spoke to my team. They said try do some online stuff that are lives
Yeah.
and see what happens. And then from then it got a good reception. So since then I've just been trying to get as many BBL players, as many Division One coaches, anyone associated with BBL. And then after that, I said to myself, I really want to do this on the sidelines as well. So yeah, it wasn't journalism I did. It was kind of like something just I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
enjoyed.
A passion. That's good. That's
So
good.
so I love it.
Yeah.
So that's when I came to Manchester and I spoke to you. You
Yeah.
remember? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
And
do. I do. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about certain things and ideas. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
It's cool,
this
man. If
is
I could
so
help, let me know.
definitely, yeah, man, I appreciate that. So it's definitely, man, there's something I love to, I think I've wanted to do now. So I want to do it now. So I'm going for it 100%.
Cool. I seen a question there from
Yeah. NBA
NBA.
Live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the level of the BBL has progressed or digressed since you've been involved in the league?
I think what is now is the levels higher in the sense of there's no nights off. Like there's no games you can go like, oh, we got this. It's like you look at the schedule, like, yeah, we got at least 10 wins for sure. And then that might be. Every team is really, really strong, talented, well coached. And I don't think it's not that other teams weren't well coached before, but the talent and then just how the game's progressed, um, it's better. But yeah, but back when I first came, the top 4 teams were top probably 6 were really tough, similar to now. And then some of the bottom teams were probably like, nah, we probably got this. It's not, unless we play really bad, we won't lose. But now I don't think you can do that with any game.
I've kind of realized that as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's and you got to bring it every single night because
yeah.
any given night anyone can get it. I've seen that a lot. I
I
think there was
think
a
a lot
game.
of I'm gonna
Yeah,
say I think a lot of the British guys are coming back and respecting and seeing that now too. That the BBL is not you can't sleep on it. And if you do come back, you better ready to play because you're not gonna just walk around get some easy stat.
nope,
You gotta hoop.
you got to
Yeah.
play. I
Hmm.
think I saw that once happen when I watched the Bristol versus London Lions. So this was when they were the champions. I think they were or they were about to become champions and they were top of the league anyway. And Bristol were like 8th, 5 for playoff spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Me thinking, oh, London's are top, Lions are top, Bristol are bottom, they'll be fine. Or Bristol just came out like that, and then Lions just
Hmm.
couldn't get back into the game. So I was like, oh wow, anyone can get it any night, man. Like,
I mean, I think the year we won the playoffs in 16, we were 10th going into Christmas, and then
okay,
we got it together and went on like a, I don't know, 14-game win streak or something. But so we were a team that probably most teams thought, okay, they're down and out, and then we got it together. So it's tough now.
oh, another question. So someone said, do you think the top teams were better back then versus now?
Hmm.
Because he said, I was always told that the top level teams would beat the level of top teams nowadays.
Let's look at the top levels. You have London Lions this season and last season, and you put them against the Newcastle teams when I was first around, or even the year Tony G had all the London guys when they won 3 with Nate Ranking, Sullivan, Tafari Tony, David Aliu, some more people in there too.
Darius Defoe there as well, Newcastle, yeah?
No, Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a game. If it was a series, it's no clean. It can go either way. I don't think. I wouldn't say it was much better, or it's not. I think it just depends on the day. The top teams then would be thereabouts with the top teams now. I don't think it's much better then than it is now. I don't think that. I think it's pretty consistent at the top. I think the top's pretty consistent. I think the bottom's where the strength's been added.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, another player that come to mind now. I just remembered Olu. It's the Olu, man. He was a beast, man. How was he like playing with you, lot, man? I like Olu, man.
Olu's probably one of the most elite defenders I ever coached.
Oh, that's the Hackney defense, man.
Yeah, he when he wanted to, when he knew he was going to guard someone that's supposed to be really good, that was the Olu that you wanted. When it was a guy that he didn't, if the game's close, then he turns it on. But if it was one of his boys, or one of those top teams, he was an elite defender. When he didn't have to be, he would be just enough to lock up whoever you had to lock up. But when it was someone that was like a rivalry, he was making sure they didn't score the whole game. And that was. I mean, Olu also his offense was underrated. He had a nice little fadeaway. Can finish really well with his left and right. So he had underrated offense, but his defense was elite. Definitely.
I remember him enough. I remember him a lot at Rough and Ready. He offensively, he was good. He could shoot open.
Yeah, he could definitely score. But he was so strong defensively, and he was so big and moved so well side to side. Such good lateral movement. You forgot about his offense a little bit, but he could score too.
Yeah, that's one thing with him. I really didn't. It just surprised me how he could move so well left and right at that size. I was like, this is crazy, man. Like 6'5" as well.
I think, and like the difference now, if Olu was younger now in today's kind of game, if he had that corner 3 down, he's the kind of guy that would be a whole different level of good, because that's what a lot of teams want, a guy just like that can shoot the corner 3 and play lockdown defense. Whereas before, probably when he was coming up, it was still a bit, the paint was congested. It wasn't as spread as it is now, and you get away with weaker defenders. Now the game's so spread and shoot the 3 so well. Every team wants like an Olu kind of player that can really shoot the 3.
Oh yeah, Matthew saying he was meant to be an American football player as well, apparently.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I just practice with him every day. I'm like, man, this guy needs to get his forearm off my back.
Is that in training?
Yeah.
Oh man, I heard he's got his wing stop. Apparently, he's got some wing shop now, isn't it? The Wing King or something. Okay,
killing it.
Man.
That's good. Really good. Fire.
I'll definitely have to check it out when I come to Sheffield again.
Yeah, doing really well.
Definitely plan there. So is there any plans for Sheffield in terms of getting their own venue, or is it just now you're staying in the Ponds Forge, or are you going to go back to the Sheffield Arena?
No, the plan is to hopefully have our own arena. We're working on that still. We're progressing it, and I think that's the way we have to go. We have to get that arena, and I think those that's the once every team most teams have that, then you'll see the next step in the league, and what everyone's kind of wants to see will happen. I'm kind of waiting to see that happen. Yeah, so I've seen it with Leicester and Newcastle, so they're setting the trend, and Bristol's on the verge of doing it now. So that's the game changer. I think it's hard to advance until everyone has that, or majority has that.
Because that'll be definitely more marketing for them, easy marketing when they have their own arena. So yeah, definitely, man. All right, man. Atiba, man, been a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I love the arena a bit. Yeah, I'll stay in touch with you as well. So
okay,
I'll hit you up on Instagram and that, man. And everyone else who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. And if you want to add Atiba on Instagram, it's Atiba Lyons on Instagram. And myself, Everyting Chris _2020. And yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right.
No worries, man. Catch you in a bit, bro.
Bye.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything, everything. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything, everything Chris.
I'm Chris G, host of Everything Chris. Hope you liked that video. If you did, click that like button. Also leave a comment. And also, if you want to see more, click that subscribe button to get a notification when we upload new content every single time. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you stay tuned for some more. And also, as you know, with me, everything's always Chris.